Welcome to This Day at Everything Cool for May 22nd. On this day in 1980, one of the most famous arcade games in history chomped its way out. Namco released a new game called Pac-Man, initially testing it at just one location, a movie theater in Tokyo, before giving it a wide release across the country. It was only a moderate success in Japan, but thankfully it did well enough for Namco to give it an international rollout. For the US version, they partnered with Midway, but before it was released, they decided to make one important change. They dropped the letter K from the title in order to prevent vandals from altering the P into an F, thus making the name Pac-Man something more obscene. The result, Pac-Man, was released in the US a few months later and became an unexpectedly huge hit and was soon the most popular arcade game in the country. Pac-Man was ported to home video consoles like the Atari 2600, and today you can play it pretty much anywhere, even on Google's homepage. Another perfect game was released on May 22, 2000. Developer Rare released their first-person shooter Perfect Dark on the Nintendo 64, thrusting players into the role of futuristic secret agent Joanna Dark. The game was a spiritual successor to Rare's 1997 shooter GoldenEye, but built on the technology in that game, offering better graphics, much better lighting, and new gameplay mechanics like the ability to duck, crouch, lean, and drop from ledges. There were also stealth sections, a rarity in the shooter genre at the time, and Perfect Dark was also one of the first shooters to have on-screen reload animations. It pushed the limits of the N64, and as such required the console's expansion pack in order to have enough memory to run. Perfect Dark received critical acclaim and proved once again that shooters could work on consoles. Gamers were seeing red a year later on May 22, 2001. The first Red Faction game was released on the PS2, becoming one of the first games to feature geometry modification, which is a fancy way of saying destructible environments. Several previous games had featured limited environment alteration, usually after pre-scripted cutscenes. But in Red Faction, the world around you would be destroyed in real time as you played, with all your bullets and bombs taking their toll in appropriate ways. This is something that still hasn't become commonplace in games, although other franchises like Battlefield and Rainbow Six have incorporated the idea.